Ding there.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We move on, and hopefully for Liquid, they can mentally reset. Put Sliggy in there right now, and you give them the talk. You get their heads in the right place, because on paper, Liquid should have had a much better game, fundamentally, than what we just saw. Now, again, Heretics are a fantastic roster. They truly are. They've shown exactly why they're here, why they're dangerous, why the desk even said, technically, you could favor these guys. But there should have been more back. And we're now coming into Ascent. This is going to be Heretics' choice. This is where things get even scarier.
It is indeed. I mean, started off on attack. Looks like we've got 3 over towards B main and 2 stack at top mid. nieSoW and loWel over here. But, I mean, this again, winning map 1 for Heretics here. Massive confidence boost. I want to see them carry that momentum into map 2 here.
Yeah, so far, I'm just going to see how Liquid approaches. Do they get a little aggy? They do. So aggression going to be kind of toyed with over towards A, at least pushing a little aggressively. But when you have deep players holding, like we see the Sova on the other side, they're waiting for this. This is a set play, this is a set intention, and they're being very patient, and they're slowly building mid-control. You've got AvovA leading the way, and you've got kind of a 2-man squad with him. And then you have Killjoy and Sova at the very back lines, making sure no one pushes too far out. And I think this is a great little approach to start with. Good clear towards middle. It's going to give away some of the game, but if someone pushes out, they will catch this breach, I think.
Yeah, 3 members of Heretics actually making it up towards market here, and only just now we get rotation coming out. Actually, Eccle's going to find a little bit of company in the form of pAura over in the attacker side. Spawn turret goes out. Now let's see how they respond to this.
Could be misinformation. Now it looks like the actual adjustment is going to leave the Omen pushed in, but it's Eccle's lovely push. pAura's going to be frustrated, but now the pinch comes in through short. You've already got them on the site, and you've already got Link dead, but there is support there. Scream was quick enough to make it around. The Jett, no slouch on making up some of the space, but that spike is now being toyed with. You've got Heretics going to get that plant, and now into the post plant. But look at AvovA. He was the player who got posted up, pushed up towards middle, and he's already made a nuisance of himself. Bought a bit of time, but it's still tricky for Heretics to hold this.
It is. Scream down to 10 HP as well. nukkye and now just need to hold on to this. The shock dart comes through. Could do a little bit of damage on the way in. They've got to be careful here.
Did he look, he's just pushed up. He's played the timing, but Eccles is too smart. Really well checked there to make sure they double checked in case anyone pushed up as they kind of mantled down. So well done to them. Liquid will get the first, but you could see the intentions then from Heretics.
No, it's a big factor to consider. Eccles maintains control of A main, boxes those players into sight. They have to make a play if they want to win that. And, I mean, you saw the point at which loWel's kind of jumping up to try and peek Heaven. They're trying to pull something out of the bag.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, they can kind of set the pace however they want now. They have this map advantage to play with, and they know that Liquid are going to be back to the wall sort of gaming here. There is no ease coming into this. It has to be everything shown. So I want to still see that aggression being toyed with. And we've seen what can happen with, you know, deep Omen blinds, a couple of smokes here and there. You know, I mean, we've all seen the clips. We've seen TenZ and all his fans and friends, but nothing too much. But you can see the intention behind it. That is going to be a filthy shotgun angle if they breach around the corner. It looks like timing's not on the side, though.
Yeah, let's see. The Owls aren't going to give this information away.
Nice.
Eccle's got to be careful, but deals with it handily. nieSoW maybe going to try and get some damage in with the shock dart. The first one's actually good. Wow, it's going to do about 40 damage to Eccles, so he's got to back away from this close angle with the judge.
I mean, suddenly, even the weaker weapons become incredibly viable.
Yeah.
That touch of damage is so vital. But now Scream's going to hit the rotation. I like this. This should be safety for Scream. He shouldn't overdo it, and this is a really nice just kind of crunch point that they've created here. Not allowing anyone through until then. A little bit of a dink and a dip down. We're going to be seeing just one standing, and not going to get anything out of it, are you? Scream going to just stamp authority on this round now. Bear in mind, this was against pistols. There wasn't much invested. I think there was maybe a Sheriff and maybe a Frenzy at most, but very little coming back in there for Heretics.
Yeah, I mean, a much more cautious approach this time around from Heretics. Obviously, this time starting on the attack. I think they definitely want to get a feel for Liquid on Ascent here. I mean, on split defense, we saw how eager they were to kind of push out and fire map control. This is just lining the map as he finds 2 from up here in Heaven. I mean, actually, unfortunate not to get the headshot ghost there through the dark cover as well. But others again, just don't let them even take the orb. Don't even give them something else extra out this round. Just giving nothing away.
Yeah, but now look at this purchase coming back in for Heretics. Because they bought absolutely nothing really in that previous round, they do get a fantastic purchase coming in this time. Rifles galore, utility galore. They're happy with what they've got. Now, I do like this consistent element of pushing up, because eventually you won't need to necessarily push Eccles to this position, because they're going to intentionally believe that there's going to be someone there. Now, this looks like a curious positioning coming out from Liquid. They have no one on B.
Yeah, it's just the Killjoy utility, and actually the alarm bot's over in mid, so it's the turret that's going to give this away. Actually a massive investment of utility here from Heretics to get on. Fault line, that's a nice little lineup there from Eccles all the way over in the defensive spawn, but I mean, Control's going to go over to Heretics immediately. This is going to be a retake situation here for Liquid. Door comes down, Eccles going to pop it immediately. loWel actually swings onto that, but there you go, Kryptix is there to back him up.
Really good trading then coming from Liquid. As soon as there was a bit of a threat, they piled in. Something we didn't see on map 1, so that's a much better look for any Liquid fan to hold on to hope. But soulcas gonna try and reveal some information, get the plays going. Scream's gonna work in off this. That's the man you want leading the way on this retake. pAura, though, going to steady his aim, steady himself for the absolute wave of players coming in. Blinded up, sprays in. Can't do it. Scream is having a absolute belter of a round, and this is the investment they made, and that's a defuse you can't stop.
No, it isn't. And I mean, that there is a fantastic example of how to maintain control, even if you give up the site, just not allowing anybody to come out of that site. This is notorious, obviously, B site on Ascent. Once you're boxed onto site, it is so difficult to maintain control for the full duration of that spike ticking down. And I mean, at that point, yeah, go away, save the weapon, nieSoW, correct decision.
Scream's 8-0. Do you think they've kind of poked the bear a little?
Yeah, he's warmed up now. Maybe he's, I guess, that corner clearance is stuck in his head.
I'd be mad. I'd be embarrassed. I mean,
hey, tilt motivates some people. There you go.
It can. We're going to see what comes back through here from Heretics. They've yet to really make a statement on this. That previous round, it was okay. I wasn't in love with it. I didn't hate it. They kind of got the site for free, and then they fumbled on the retake, which was the main kind of part of it. But Scream's playing a bit of a looser style here. We've not seen him push up towards middle, or at least this far up short yet. So maybe a look at what they're intending, maybe dealing with a little bit of that mid play coming back. Wait, he's still going on. He's just caught a glimpse. He's definitely seen one. Isolates one. Is there another? They're daring to go. Almost hits the 180. Spins around, but quickly dealt with. And now suddenly you can see Heretics shuffling around, looking for that next opportunity to present. No one's there. If you're Liquid, you've got to fall back, and you've got to bide your time now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. Scream, again, no information given over from Heretics. Nobody actually peeking away from top mid. Gave him the feeling that maybe he's got an opportunity to swing onto tiles, but soulcas actually got a big task ahead of him. You can see Heretics stacked up here. A little bit of utility sent on the way in, but they're actually going to swarm in.
All right, soulcas, it's on you now, buddy. All on you. There's a lot of players here. Kryptix on the crossfire comes in just the nick of time. Perfectly played. This man is exactly who you'd want to turn up. Right timing, right place, and Heretics are not getting a foot through the door this time.
No, again, just maintaining composure there. They weren't worried at all by that. The crossfire, the angles that both those players holding over. soulcas got all the support he needs from Kryptix there. Just a fantastic hold, to be honest. This is what I was talking about. I'm fine with this.
Yep.
If Scream can just do this 1 out of 3 rounds and he's allowed to do so, it's going to be so problematic for Heretics.
And it sends a message that, yeah, whatever, map 1's done, don't worry about it, we're back. It's the kind of swing of pace and intention coming out, and it just shows that, do you know what, I hope Sliggy had a good chat with the boys, gave him a little, clip around the back of the ear or something, saying, all right, let's stop messing around now. This is the big deal. You don't get a second shot at this. This is your best of 3 to win. Now Heretics still have plenty of rounds to play with, but a 4-0 start is a statement however you want to build it.
Indeed. It's, I mean, it looks much cleaner as well from Liquid, to be honest with you. They're looking way more composed this time around than some of the situations we saw with Split. A lot more decisive, kind of in the heat of the moment. Meanwhile, do have Heretics looking for something through mid again. It's interesting. Liquid are happy to give this up. Little bit of utility back up in the form of the turret and the alarm bot. This time, the turret tucked into pizza, and looks like Kryptix is going to play an off angle based on his contact. He's going to peek a little bit, finds about AvovA actually come down the top of that. The dark cover comes down. Probably going to see an explosion onto the B site here from Heretics.
But is there anyone there to stop them, or are they being quite passive again? It looks like soulcas is going to potentially give up the site if this utility lasts long enough. Ooh, they're actually going in on the site. A fumble and a half. That was a mistake from at least one of Liquid's players. I want to see if anyone else falls foul to this. That was unnecessary. Yeah. Unnecessary to commit, and that almost shows that nervousness again. Left. Now, this should be a pretty clean spike plant. I don't think anyone's going to stop this. And that seems as though that's the case. It might be time for Liquid to consider even a save.
Yeah, I mean, loWel sneaking his way through mid there as well, whilst everybody's tunneled onto the defensive spawn, just watching if anybody pushes out of the B site. Scream actually looking like he wants to get up close. But again, the retake at this point, highly improbable, we'll say that. But again, just looking to do some early damage economy-wise. Okay.
pAura checks his corners, mate. I don't like what Eccles did there, if I'm honest.
Especially with soulcas stood behind him.
Exactly. If you're going to go for it, fully intend to go for it. You have to have that commitment, that intention, and the execution to it. If they can fully reinvest next round to no problem, fine. I guess if that was just your kind of throw to the wall and see if it sticks. But it looks like they're desperate to keep control at least of this rifle, so I feel as though there's something to be said about the economy here.
Yeah, I mean, soulcas has done well so far, so I mean, maybe he can pull something out of the bag here. The fact that he's kept that on the board. This was an interesting scenario here. Obviously, Kryptix playing this one perfectly. AvovA just coming out on top in terms of the aim duel.
When you check your corners.
Yeah, there's a meme in there somewhere.
Yeah. There is. Ooh, Kryptix, hello. What do we have here? Sinatra, is that you? NA Valorant. It's weird. We do have the op going out for Link as well. So again, Liquid were one of those teams that we always consider like, are they really, do they have the player to take that role on? And it's going to be interesting to see what Link does with it on the Omen. It should at least alleviate some of the other players to get a little bit more curious across the map. It looks like Breach is going walkabout, so that's Eccles having a little look down short. Maybe they can kind of stack a little towards middle and potentially even fight that.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing, you were talking about Eccles' presence on A main. Heretics aren't even coming into A lobby to be able to even investigate that. They're happy to give it up. But again, similar situation to what we saw on Split with kind of mid control being relinquished, but at the cost of, you know, gaining B garage control. But so
cover going down.
The owl drone in, dark cover going to come down. Link reacting off that information, but I mean, this is all a fake. nieSoW straight away through the attacker's spawn, going to wrap back over. Scream already coming through defensive spawn. So all this utility and 3 members of Liquid looking like they're going to commit to holding on to B.
I still want to see where Scream goes. He is the pivot point in this, and wherever he leans is where they expect the hit to come in. For now, it looks like they're still potentially gambling towards A, and now he's on the way. They know what's coming through, but Killjoy could be a huge issue now for
30 seconds
how
left.
This kind of unfolds. I'm looking to see how they commit towards this one and what they do with it. His Scream's still here. We've got the players on the site. Locations revealed. Everything is noted now.
Let's see, when it comes through, Kryptix staying alive for a lot longer than I thought, but a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Heretics, and the revive coming in gives them the upper hand now with the spike about to go down.
Yeah, this post plant is going to be pretty brutal. They still maintain a lot of map control with nieSoW where he is. Scream could be a game changer. There's the flash. Scream uses it. Gets further forward, but they need to clear this corner. The timing on the flash! Oh my word! nieSoW just comes out on top of that, and now he can be the biggest nuisance. He just needs to live, and the cross becomes near on impossible. They have to funnel utility in. They cannot deal with the site without removing him. Suddenly he goes down, but it is still 3 players here. This is great work from Heretics to bide time, to stay their ground, and Link and they can do nothing, do nothing but die, and even to a turret.
Ooh, Link finds one on the way out though, but this spike is about to go off. Link going to tuck his tail between his legs, head back through the defensive spawn, but wow, I mean, what a response initially. I mean, it's so crucial in this situation for that player in B main, in the form of nieSoW in this situation, to stay alive as long as possible. If he gets the kill, fantastic. I mean, the timing on that flash was awful. Probably the worst timing ever. They were both staring at each other. But the important thing is, with one less thing to worry about and having the information of when the defenders come back onto site, it's so huge for the team holding on to control.
You can
look at the investment.
Yeah, they had to. They had to pour so much into just removing him. His positioning and his ability to just bide time gives me, honestly, MVP that round. I'm more than happy to give him that. And that's it. It's the buying time on retakes, and it's showing that at least Heretics have a good idea of what they want to approach this with. It's, can they repeat it, though? I don't know if the repetition's quite there yet for them.
Another slow start to this. Heretics happy to kind of just keep Liquid guessing early game. Again, they're playing so deep, they're not really giving away information at either entrances to the sites. Obviously, with the recon coming through B main and Eccles, I mean, previously doing what he was doing on A main, not really kind of giving Liquid anything to work with, loWel.
No, not really. Eccles just kind of being cautious about these. He's got to be very careful with how he approaches this, because it's a fine line. We haven't seen them testing short too much, so this could be not necessarily the unknown, But you can already see Jett pushing out through those B halls, so they are garnering a good deal of information. Already the Jett's going to fall away back towards B, but you can see the intention on the rotations, heading through spawn, and they're already leaning towards A. This is a very good read for the defensive side.
Yeah, loWel actually tucked all the way up just outside tree right now. You can see him in the cubby. I'm going to clear out Wine. The Nano Swarm and the Boomba. A bit of an over-investment, to be honest with you, not necessary for both. Dark cover comes down, though. Link's still in heaven. Now loWel got to make a play if he wants to deal with it. He does find Eccles over there.
30 seconds left.
I'm still not loving this. Eccles is getting caught in the weirdest positions, kind of somewhere in between holding the defensive line and taking the fight potentially, but the site is all theirs, and say goodnight, Link. That is going to be just signed, sealed, and delivered. And you're going to see now this retake looking so unlikely. So much utility still with Heretics to bide their time and build that wall. It's not impenetrable, though, bear in mind, as Kryptix already is going to find one and maybe open up an opportunity. But these kills would have to happen quick.
Yeah, I mean, time's a factor here. Again, similar situation. The longer that nieSoW survives in A main, the harder it becomes for Liquid to kind of break this hold.
Look at this around the world as well. They're already chasing these guns down. I want to see if they actually get any of these guns away as well from Liquid. Kryptix, Scream, and soulcas could really do with keeping control of this. But looking at where they're going, they could potentially chase down some of these weapons if they're feeling quite bold and get them out of play. But you can see Liquid very, very hesitant to leave the safety of this cubby.
Yeah, an impressive round from Heretics. Oh, actually going to cross over, and nukkye unfortunately missing those shots. But again, I'm liking what I see. When Heretics have the opportunity to kind of set up for those post-plant positions, it just looks so strong. And I mean, even there, Liquid have read that situation perfectly. Like, guys, like we got 15 seconds. We've already kind of missed the mark and backing away from that. But the problem being, I mean, Link dying there to the showstopper.
Yeah.
That's kind of sealed the deal for them because that's their pivot from heaven. But the point I'm trying to make, Heretics, once they're given the opportunity to set up, they have such a tight hold on these sites in post-blast scenarios.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job, and I feel like now they've been able to determine that pace more. I think they've calmed the game down a little bit because Liquid came out incredibly strong. It was like, hey, we're back in the game, and it also helped that Scream had a really good start. Now, he's not been able to do that for a couple of rounds. He has been kind of tamed down here, and this is what happens when you start, defaulting a little more, taking your time across the map a little bit more. It makes it harder to make those individual plays. It doesn't bode so well. And it looks like a heavy sight lean towards B, and it's a correct read again. No one's here. This is going to be that full 5 retake.
Yeah, again, just the Killjoy utility. Turret over in pizza alarm bot just outside B main here. Dark cover going to come out from AvovA. Expecting market and obviously the defensive spawn to be covered off. Break those lines of sight. And actually loWel with a, well, hello, Hunter's Fury coming all the way through B main. Actually going to find loWel. So soulcas stopping this push initially, but Heretics have got access in now. They're through B main. soulcas looks like he might be trying to line something up for the plant there. Yep, waiting for the audio cue to send out these shock darts.
Let's see where it goes. Planting in the back of sight.
Spike planted.
Didn't make much of an effect to me, if I'm honest. And really, a sight take for 1 player loss? I'll take that. I'll take that all day long. This seems good so far, but let's get in the eyes of the players if we can, because it looks like Liquid are kind of hitting their head against a wall here. I want to see what the go signal is for them to get into this. Maybe the players going all the way around, trying to come through those B halls at the backside, but Scream gifted one. pAura maybe opening up opportunity now. This is a problem, and it's starting to crumble. And Liquid gripping onto this as they suddenly work their way forward. They still need to get towards the site, though. 2 players to try and hold this down, but they're tucked to the back. There's still a utility being poured through, and they're dead, gone, and buried. Say goodnight.
Yeah, I mean, really, really good stuff from, and again, you know, on the flip side of what I was talking about in the previous round, give Liquid the time to set up for that retake. They invest 2 to take control of B main. And again, removing that factor is so huge in maintaining control in post-plant on B site. Just really, really good stuff. I love this ultimate from soulcas, by the way. Again, just a fantastic angle to line this up. And even just finding one, maybe doing a little bit of damage. Extra bonus, but again, you're not risking anything to kind of output some damage before that push comes through.
No, I'll give that the credit of at least being a prime gaming flawless round. I'll give that one over. I'll let you have that one on the retake. You don't often get those so cleanly. I'll let it happen. For now, though, we do see the purchase coming back in. It looks like Heretics are bringing out the op as well, so that could be a bit of a game changer. I want to see where that gets utilized. On the attack is a little tricky in my mind. I still feel it can be. I've been proven wrong several times by like Wardell just running around like a madman. But I want to see how it looks here in Heretics' hands.
Again, I mean, you asked the question as well, putting it on the Raze.
Yep.
Whether or not there is an agent pool issue there. Oh, actually, Scream going to go full aggressive on the back of that flash. A 1-for-1 trade in mid, though. Liquid look like they want to commit to it.
Eccles just got left with his pants down in middle. He was just exposed to the world. It is the worst place to be. Feels a little uncomfortable. And suddenly everyone's pressing the issue. Heretics just see a little bit of blood in the water and they are chasing it down. Liquid just made a mistake. That was trying to be a little bit cheeky in mid, a little aggressive, but maybe not communicated well enough, or maybe choreographed. But Kryptix trying to hold the cross. Nice utility usage to just give safe passage.
No, I love that. The dark cover comes down, slow orb behind it. Nobody can push in, walk into that dark cover and you know, be a nuisance for Heretics on the way in. But again, now, given the opportunity, given the freedom, look how Heretics spread before the post plant.
30 seconds left. Spike planted.
Revealing area.
Where are the final two?
Out of charges.
Kryptix.
Running.
Yeah. Is there a way we could see the money left as well? Just want to check in with Liquid here, because some of these rounds have been kind of up and down. I'm kind of curious how they're sitting. Again, because they're just being very cautious to take guns away at this point.
I mean, I've got to feel it's close to the wire for Liquid. I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to take a look at it in between rounds, but I mean, this is going to be the third round in a row, right? Going over to Heretics, and a reasonable investment, you got to say, thus far for Liquid. So going to be holding on to these two Phantoms for sure. loWel really drifting over towards A main. Both players tucked inside Hell, probably not going to get spotted out there. Another clean take onto B site. I'm going to be honest, it seems Heretics are favouring that direction, especially on the buy rounds, when they've got a couple of ultimates to complement that. But this mid push was kind of crazy because it fell apart very quickly and then they committed to it. Like you said, Eccles lit to the corner with his pants down.
I felt so bad. It's like, you know, when you're in school and you call the teacher mum, it just felt weird. Poor guys just had like, I was here for you, Scream, but you've really just thrown me through a loop.
You digging up any memories there?
I have a lot of trauma to go through, and doing it on air seems the most appropriate.
Yeah, obviously.
Of course. 5. All of my choices in 2020. 5-4 though. Liquid do still have the lead, but it's waning, and the response from Heretics has been good. I think we have seen a calmer Liquid, and you can see what's happened to the economy, it looks like. A couple of issues have come through, but it does seem as though they've fashioned a purchase. X, have you not learnt your lesson? Back in middle again, are we? A little bit more passive this time, though.
Yeah, a little bit more. Again, it was an overcommitment. This time, Scream actually over in B main, but I mean, Liquid got to be careful here. Heretics creeping over towards A short. The other spike actually tucked over. Too strong over in A main as well, so this could be a tidy split if they decide to go for it. loWel will invest in a little bit of utility, maybe just to kind of bait a rotation out of Liquid, maybe keep them second guessing this.
Yeah, it definitely could. We're going to see what they go for already.
He finds one as well.
loWel's going to found, yeah, and it's Eccles in mid. The guy's having a nightmare of a couple of rounds, trying to maybe deal with these kind of lurkers. We saw what I think it was AvovA was able to do when he had that mid control a couple of rounds ago, and it was pretty devastating. However, another pick comes back in, and this time it is the aforementioned AvovA going down. It's going to be Link at least controlling that, but it does seem as though the spike will be planted. So at least the time will now be favourable towards Heretics. They can maybe set up the post plant, but this is still a tricky one to hold.
I was going to say, this low lurk here, Scream actually going to spot it out. He does come out on top of that. That's huge. Lockdowns invested on both sides here. One coming through from Tree, one actually just outside Jen here. So Liquid got to be quick, actually, if they want to deal with this.
And I'm not seeing any quickness to this. This is horrible to watch. I don't like it. Do you want to cast this one?
No, I don't. I'm glad Heretics aren't pushing in there. Again, it buys them time. The fact that two players got locked down, Recon Bolt comes through, Paranoia to follow up, but nieSoW actually finds soulcas on the way in. Yeah,
the trade comes in, but it's too little too late, in my mind at least. But nice work from Link to do the damage. But look at the time. The time is gone, and it is too late in the day. And once again, Liquid being caught out in a couple of scenarios that I didn't expect them to be.
No, I mean... I love that though. The best response to a Killjoy lockdown is to throw your own down. As soon as Kryptix invested that in Tree, yep. I mean, it was instantaneous for pAura to respond, and the positioning of both. I mean, Heretics was much better protected where it was. So just straight away there, the time's running down. The fact that the two of them get locked down, I like the fact that Heretics don't try and close the gap there and, you know, go kill hungry, because time is in their favor there. Yeah,
they played the clock perfectly. Yes. It was the additional ally that gets added to the side. And a 5-5 scoreline, we are getting towards a kind of pointy end at least of the half. And soulcas getting curious. This is the first time we've seen this, and Heretics know exactly what's coming their way, but this mid-crunch is working well for now, but it's just Scream off a leash. I don't know. Where's the next step? There it is. Okay, soulcas finally got in the action, but it felt mismanaged. It felt a little mistimed. But let's see if it's misplaced. The spike has been picked back up, and we have to see if now Heretics can kind of deal with this weird round coming out. I love aggression, but it is just here, there, and everywhere, bits and pieces, and an isolated fight towards short could have been a problem. Luckily for loWel, he does have the heal links there, and now a 1v2. And he knows where both of these players are.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. The fact that they were synergized and Scream is able to get to mid-link that quickly to kind of, you know, attempt to pinch with soulcas. I like that aggression. Maybe if... I mean, it didn't necessarily pay off for them, but it's looking like they're going to win the round anyway.
We'll see. 40 seconds. Spike to hand.
Yeah.
And a 1v2. It is certainly
Prove
doable.
me wrong. Prove me wrong.
AvovA.
I mean, positionally, he's
it's
got
not
a bank
bad.
to rights at the minute.
Now, I do like the fact that Liquid have
left.
doubled up. They're trying to play a safe round after playing a very dangerous round. That is not a bad plan. Now, that gives away the game here. Now it's all noted. Oh, this has gone poorly for AvovA. This has given away too much. And now you can see the quickening of the pace. Liquid want this dealt with, but now he's down even lower. Look at the HP. It is dire. But a 1v2. He just needs to land those shots, but he doesn't have all the information. All the pieces are not in the right place. 19 HP. And the clock is still ticking, but Liquid quiet and cautious towards the site. No one was facing, but well handled. Both staying together, trying to minimize any potential of easy free picks.
You make a good point. They stack up, they move away. The utility's there to bail them out. Or, I mean, at least on half of the map, they can prioritize mid, they can prioritize B. They know that they're going to have that information fed over to them. And actually, the Nano Swarm's just absolutely farming damage there, to be honest. It's unfortunate for AvovA. But, like I said, I want to make the point, I like that synergy, that play there to pinch into mid-link. Initially found a little bit of value, but it looked a bit shaky, I'm not going to lie.
I love the intention. The execution was a bit sketchy for me, but I like what they're trying. I think the intention is correct there. So, again, not the worst in the world, but I'm looking at what purchase they come out with this time for Liquid. This is a very close half, though, overall.
Yeah, I gotta say it. Nukkye's having a stinker. He's 1-7 right now, and that's obviously on the Raze. Again, we can talk about duelists and people obviously playing those roles and whatnot, but we haven't really seen him on the map so far. You know, elsewhere on Heretics, pAura not necessarily having the greatest game, but you know, obviously he's got a role to carry out. I mean, this time around, a much better rounded game from Liquid, I will say. Scream's still popping off a little. I mean, we started 8-0, right? He's now sitting at 13-6, so much better stuff. Obviously, you do have a little bit of a, I guess, a tactical timeout right now. So just going to hold on. Let's see. Clock restarted as I said that. They must have heard me.
Oh no, Hypox telling us to start. Do you reckon that was it? No, I
highly doubt that.
Yeah. But no matter what, I do want to see how this plays out. I think so far for me, I actually don't know where to put Liquid in this. Is this them doing an exceptionally good half, or is this them holding on? Exactly.
Clinging on for dear life.
Correct. So I'm still curious how this now looks in the bigger grand scale of things. But this will be the final throw, at least towards the site, and that's the opening pick. Link now down. This raises the alarm bell. Everyone starts panicking, but they are at least on the site. It looks like Scream's committed in the site itself. Where is Scream right now? I really want to see what he's up to. He's found pAura already. loWel's a little bit curious. He's like, but I swear my wall was there. Kryptix and Scream, sick play in combination. This time they committed to the fight. This time they weren't left in a horrible retake. But also this time, soulcas just wanted to interlit it.
Oh no. Yeah, Rolling Thunder comes through. nieSoW might actually be able to tuck into the corner, but it doesn't. Eccles cleans up the easiest kill we'll probably see in the entire series. But good stuff there. I mean, the utility usage was fantastic. The fact that Scream commits to that site hold and actually manages to sync up with Kryptix to find those kills. It was perfectly timed, actually. Kryptix nearly fell outside market door there, but the ping, the information given over to Scream allows them to obviously wallbang through the boathouse.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see Scream kind of committing to those scenarios. It was dangerous because sometimes it can catch you off, but we have seen them constantly postured for those retakes. So seeing him diving in a little ahead of that's a tick in the box for me. I like that. You've got to lean on your players, and I think Scream was actually quite integral this game. Risky too, though. He was playing that fine margin between over-aggression and going on your own, but it did get them a couple of rounds, I feel. No,
and you made an interesting point. Between Eccles making those not aggressive plays, but kind of gaining control in terms of territory, and then having Scream kind of play this rotating role, pivoting between both sites. I mean, if you can counteract that correctly in both rounds, Eccles comes out, finds no information. I don't want to say gamble stack, but Scream actually in a position to kind of assert that aggression and find a kill elsewhere is huge for Liquid. Yeah, I think stabilization is where I'm leaning here. Liquid, it's not the best half. I'm going to be very honest. This is not a
commanding lead by any means, but it looks like they've calmed it down a bit. You know, they've got control of themselves again. Anyway, to give you a little bit more insight, and I'm sure to give their own thoughts, is the desk. Let's have a quick check-in with what they're thinking.
So, we are on Ascent. We have Sovas on both teams. This is why I'm here, and I'm super excited. So, we're going to explain through a couple of these rounds to show you kind of how Sova can be really important in a map like Ascent. It's not necessarily for the Radiant or Immortal players, but more like gold players like Mitch over here to maybe get him to Platinum or something like that. So definitely gonna be very interesting to kind of share some knowledge on that. So we're gonna go through one of the first rounds, actually the pistol round. So the cool thing here is that they are retaking the site, and they don't really have vision on the final player to take out. But Sova is one of the few characters that has the utility to clear a corner without peeking it. So soulcas shows some really good geometry skills here by shooting it off the back wall on the bomb site and actually taking out. So you'll see it, he comes here. It does the shock dart there. First one misses. He actually gets stunned first, and then the shock dart actually almost body hits here, and that takes out nukkye, it's actually really well played. It's almost like they knew exactly where nukkye was playing, because the breach stun kind of came in, and wait, the breach stun was from
just outside the side, right?
Yeah.
Towards
that's
the attacker spawn.
Really, really beautiful.
It speaks to the coordination a lot of these teams have, right? Just to set the record straight, Diamond, or just dropped in the pot the other night, solo queuing, you know, what can you do? But yeah, for these kind of setups, like, you're never going to get this in a matchmaking game, right, where your teammate's able to have that level of coordination to pop in and clear the utility at the exact same time. But these lineups are really helpful. If you're looking to play Sova at home, you want to learn how to play it a little bit better. That's what we have beautiful Jonas here for, because, look, I see these guys all day, right? We'll see your soulcas coming in with these amazing lineups, and I'm at home thinking, I can't wait to get home on Ascent, play some Sova, and then it turns out the only thing I know how to do is wall bang with an Odin. So we're here to learn a little bit more. What else can you show us?
Yeah, so speaking of Odin, this segment here is interesting because soulcas is not actually using the Odin, but Kryptix is playing the Odin, which is kind of cool. So they're kind of combining utility here. So we're going to kind of see how soulcas is able to deny the push for so long. First, it just sends a regular shock that it's not really a fancy lineup or anything, but this kind of it scares them off a bit, right? And then he throws a recon afterwards, and this is to check for possible wallbang possibilities or if they're pushing. And still, they're not pushing at all. And then soulcas, he sends another shock dart, and they're still like, I'm not sure if I'm going to go. There's still some more utility. And even then, he still has his drone. So it seems like, you know, the attackers are just, like, he's literally shaving off a minute of their time, which forces them to maybe play less ideal because of all the time he gives his team. And unfortunately, they didn't win this round, but here you can see the drone play here, how as soon as they hear the drone, they're not going to push because they know there's still a potential Odin there. And now, finally, with 50 seconds left on the clock, all the Sova utility is out, and then you still have the Killjoy turret. You still have the grenades as well. So this is a perfect example of how much time you can shave off from the attackers by just using utility really wisely.
There's two things there that I wanted to touch on, and perhaps we can go back to the start and just slowly watch it through. There's a difference. So the first thing was you mentioned that obviously Kryptix was the one playing with the Odin.
Yeah.
I really like that because when you put the drone out, obviously there's a little bit of a delay between you tagging them, canceling, taking out your weapon, they're already gone. Now you tag them, instantly Kryptix is spraying if they're in the right position. Didn't work here quite that way, but it's what you'll see.
The theory.
What I want to see, so if we play this one through, the first shock dart is a bounce, right? It goes up, it bounces down deep.
Yes.
Now, for the people at home, when he switches over to the recon, he fires that. I think that placement of the recon is very important. He doesn't actually bounce that all the way through, right?
Yes. Because, so when you hit the roof at this point, so this B main, you know, it's like it's like an intersection here. So if you hit the recon dart up in this corner, you can see both ways because you could have someone pushing in and being almost already ready to push out. And if you're still aiming at the wall, you know, you're gonna have problems. So hitting the recon there is really smart, but at the same time, one of the most important things as a Sova player is to switch around because the enemy team starts to know where you put your recon darts. So make sure that you don't have Mitch, make sure that you don't shoot your recon dart in the same spot every round. Usually a good sign is if it starts getting destroyed before it gets a single tick off, that's when you switch up and do another lineup.
That's when some fancy lineups can be
That's
used,
where
right?
some fancy. And speaking of fancy lineups, Mr. soulcas here might have received a few lineups from yours truly in a Discord DM. So I'm kind of excited to see him using them. And we saw one of them being used in this round, actually. So we're going to play that off now. This is we're going to see the entire round. So first of all, what he does, as soon as the Killjoy nade comes out, he knows that they're probably going for a fast push. So he just sends his ultimate blindly straight away. He still has his recon, and this is where we see, this is the B default anti-plant shock dart. Now he's probably, maybe he needs, I'm not sure why he's delaying so much, if he's not sure, because he ends up spending way too much time before doing it. Because so here's the lineup, the actual lineup. So you're gonna see this one flying, and hopefully we'll see it from the over-the-top angle as well afterwards, how this one flies and hits the default plant spot. Now, the attacking team was pretty smart. They didn't actually plant defaults. If this is because they have their own post-plant way of playing, or if this is because they were expecting, because you can see here the bomb is planted in the back left corner, while the typical spot is to be safe behind the green boxes, and that's why I made this lineup to land exactly there. But the problem with timing a double shock dart to kill a planter is that you need to have this sixth sense. You need to feel, you need to look at the minimap, you need to feel where you are, because it takes only about 4 seconds to plant. It takes much longer for the arrows. Here you can see the lineup probably. So he started doing the lineup when he heard the plant. There you go. So one bounced up and they both hit right there on default plant.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It really is. I mean,
this guy must be a genius.
He must be. Whoever showed him that has the biggest brain, the biggest IQ. But speaking of big brains and big IQs, it's time to get back into the game and see what else these guys have got planned for us and what our big brain, big IQ casters have got. Take it away, Pansy and Hypuck.
That was very flattering. It's almost like you could just watch a Sinatra VOD and you'd probably get some.
I had to, dude. You've brought up Sinatra like 8 times already. So
I mean, it's Sova, the Mount Baron. You know, it kind of works. Have you not watched much NA? Does it?
I'm just not familiar with who you're talking about.
You don't like that other game?
No.
Fair play, honestly. I don't think many people do.
It's the correct answer.
7-5, though, is the half-line score we're coming back into. Now, this is a better look for Liquid, I think is fair to say. I don't think it's the best look, though. I think there is still plenty of room for danger here.
No, I mean they've looked much better at recovering rounds. Some of the things on Split that I saw, we're talking about them, you know, kind of allowing the clock to decide some of these rounds for them. This time they're way more decisive. They're looking to make plays. Again, we're talking about that mid-link push, things like that. They're looking to take control of these rounds, not allow them to kind of slip through their fingers.
I do want to see some of these kind of choreographed pistol rounds that I know that Liquid has up the sleeve.
Same.
They have been, I don't want to say weak, but it looks like a 3-2 split towards at least A for now, just because of where we're having the likes of Link lean towards.
Yeah, looking like actually all 5 are going to revert back over to A main. Slow push through. And again, I mean, nobody in heaven for Heretics. Maybe going to look to do some damage from outside of the site and not commit to an all-out brawl. Maybe give this up and work the retake. Again, you know, a big factor here. If they can kind of keep control of Garden just outside this door. Dark Cover comes down, slow orb through. loWel not going to take any shots, though. Nobody opting to close the door either, Lauren.
Yeah, that is going to be curious if it comes back to bite them potentially, but for now it's going to be Scream posted kind of at the forefront here. Utility will keep Liquid safe, at least for the plant. That was a little later than I'd hoped, but it will at least be now safe. Now you've got to look at where these post plants are. Scream is being set up for success potentially here. You're going to have X
This flash is huge.
trying to get this at the right time to see if the timing is right. Now they know someone's there. A quick little peek up, but the timing, he gets forced back. He was unable to find anything from that.
No, again, I love that it's well thought out. The fault line goes through heaven as well. It's going to stun up nieSoW and pAura on the way in. Paranoia goes through, and actually response Paranoia, and the recon comes through. nieSoW finds soulcas outside of that dark cover, and actually the trade's coming back in Heretics' favor.
Yeah, but it's still Scream! Oh my God, Scream! When the chips are down, he's always the player you want. Just, you put an animal in a corner, back to the wall, it comes out fighting for its life, and he just did that. He's on 19 kills.
I mean, I got to say it, all of Heretics was staring at A main there. There was no focus put onto Hell from what I could see. Maybe pAura here looking over that direction, but I mean, Scream just
One
win.
enemy remaining.
I mean, basically 3 back-to-back gunfights and then 1 kill in the back. Just, I mean, huge play there in the pistol round.
Production, can we just get that POV whenever and just put some Linkin Park on it, like a little bit of slow-mo, some like lens flare coming in, just really ham it up a bit. But still, nice work from Scream. Good to see his confidence flowing, and if that would maybe kind of echo throughout the rest of Liquid. He gets pumped up, everyone gets pumped up. Oh, it's just a normal game for us. Cool. And Heretics, you're gonna feel a little bit shaken by that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I was talking briefly about, you know, the little wins, the confidence boosters, and that's definitely a huge one for Liquid. And actually, on the flip side of that, a bad one for Heretics. Scream has to get himself into cubby. loWel actually going to find that with the Classic, though. So advantage goes over to Heretics immediately, and Liquid haven't come out of B main yet. They're actually retreating here.
They should. I mean, okay, they have to be cautious because they are on the SMGs. They are the lighter purchase here coming out for them, and there are potential threats, but there's no armor. There's nothing really that should hinder this. Maybe just caution, and I don't mind that. If this is going to be what the look's going to be, is just kind of a cautious, considered approach, sure. Why not? Waste that utility down, draw out whatever they may have. I don't mind it.
Well, actually, on the flip side of what I was saying, this is the situation where you want to run the clock down a little bit. Pressure Heretics, you know, once the utility's out of the way,
left.
take these long-range battles with the weapons they do have.
Yeah, but 25 seconds, things go wrong. This is where things get sketchy, and there's
like
the double
that.
ding. This is where it gets a little bit of a problem. A one-and-done spot can do damage in this. Again, this should be clean, easy sailing for Liquid, and now AvovA's got one. It's a 2v2, and it's going to be a post-plant, but look at the weaponry. Have they been able to scavenge much? AvovA's got himself a gun. soulcas, though, he's like, all right, guys. I know you're trying to build a narrative, Lauren. I know you're trying to build a bit of hype. I'm going to just walk up and kill him. All right? We've still got the round.
Stop you in your tracks.
Yeah. Thank you.
But, I mean, you've got to consider it there. Maybe there is also some hesitation on the side of Liquid. They don't want to throw away around like that. Obviously, Scream bursts in there. He doesn't find any value off the initial utility into market. I mean, nieSoW able to, I'm pretty sure it was nieSoW, able to play his life and stay alive long enough for loWel to swing out from the defensive spawn. So, I mean, nothing too scary just yet. The round 2 conversion from Liquid, we know that's one of their fortes. Let's see what Heretics have up their sleeve for the next round.
Okay. I want to see what Scream's money's going to be like throughout this. It's looking a little wacky to me, but I'm sure he's going to kind of supplement that with potentially the ult coming out, which I imagine I just heard. But again, this is a very decisive hit. It's an all-in. This is not defaulting. There's already information for the defensive side looking down middle. They know that there's no one there. There's no one on B. This is going to be a stack from the defensive team, but Liquid already in. Scream right up ahead. AvovA's got the pick, though, so it's going to be on Scream to control this. Nobody can pass this, otherwise they are in severe trouble. Ooh, my. Okay, Scream is playing a very dangerous game here.
He's still got the Blade Storm popped. More Cloud Burst to go down, but
Spikes across. They've at least got the spike in towards the site now, so that plant is becoming more and more viable. So, but this retake can still just hold. They can just wait pretty patiently for that spike to go down. They're not being given any opportunities yet, but now with the plant coming in, they can wait.
yeah, we do have pAura. It is a fact that you can see over on the minimap there. He is going to try and flank through. Again, all this information will be fed back over to his teammates. This time around, Eccle's not alive. They can't do that rehearsed flash into heaven, so Scream just has to hold the line with this Blade Storm for the time being, wait for Heretics to give something away. But what have we talked about? Getting boxed into sight. Look at Liquid right now.
AvovA's still got utility. pAura's still got utility. You're seeing it in play right now. Scream's found AvovA, though, and now the trades come back up, but Scream is still delivering. Sets up Kryptix, but it has to be big work from Kryptix, too. nieSoW's on the spike. He's defusing right now. He's holding the defuse. Kryptix takes the fight and loses it. nieSoW might have just clutched this, and yes, he has. Defuse comes in. Heretics hold on, and they bring it on the round.
I mean, there was a moment there I thought Kryptix might have invested the lockdown. And that, again, at that point, you know, backs against the walls, a 1v1 situation. Do you want to risk away giving rounds like that? Or do you want to play the forward game and have that still in your arsenal to pull out whenever you need it elsewhere? But, I mean, the fact he's able to hop off the defuse there and still win that, that's spicy.
It's a little bit of spice, you know? When you're at Nando's, it's like a medium, you know? A very tame medium. Okay. It's not extra hot, yeah?
No.
Easy. All right.
Tepid.
Tepid. My mood in 2020. 6-9, though. This is still Liquid leading. They haven't hit that double-digit number, and we haven't seen the economy stabilize yet, I feel, for Heretics. It's still been in a state of flux, but this is a much better-looking Liquid I still want to highlight than what we saw in that first map. That was just sloppy.
This is night and day.
it's a different looking team. So shout out to Sliggy, I imagine, or maybe the IGL coming in saying, guys, roll it back a bit here. Regardless, Heretics, nice use of utility for a quick peek and a safe kind of back away, but mid control slowly being garnered by the attacking side here.
nieSoW actually still holding the angle on that dark cover. Screen did swing on it, doesn't find anything initially, but expect nieSoW to respond with a little bit of utility. nukkye actually tucking back into that cubby on shore. And he does actually find a kill as well. Link caught off guard, and he manages to use utility again and get away from Scream.
He's just being toyed with. Scream's got 1 bullet left. That's all he's got to play with. And yeah, the utility now being poured in. Nice counter push, though, from Liquid to see that all the attention was on short, and now they get punished for that. Beautiful work from Liquid off to the back of just kind of playing in towards the side itself. Spike being slowly filtered through, but no, it's been dropped. Kryptix had the spike, I'm pretty sure. So there's still room for play here and time for rotation.
This spot in Garden from loWel, time and time again, is crucial for these pushes onto A site from Liquid. You can see now the spike is caught in a precarious spot now. Liquid need to deal with this threat. Screen creeping over towards it. pAura over in heaven. And the time running down here again. loWel finds another one. soulcas will trade that one out, but 8 seconds now. They need to get this spike planted.
This is going to be a tilting round. If they mess this up, if they lose this,
What?
What? Did they just...
They didn't pick up the spike, so they can't plant
it.
One player remaining.
What do you say? What do I say? What do I...
Right, so now it's 7-9 in the favor of Liquid. I mean, I want to move on.
How have we seen the clock run out so many times? Running too late. Like, don't get me wrong. This is. Okay, here's the 2 ways I could do this for you guys. I could have lied to you and said that was really exciting, or we can be very honest and say, what the hell just happened then? I don't know how that mistake was made, and maybe there's more factors to it. Maybe we missed something, but from what I saw, they simply didn't plant within the time.
I mean, I praise them for their composure early on. That's the kind of mistake you make when you're under pressure and, you know, things are getting a little bit nervous for you, but that's a freebie. For Heretics, to be honest with you, that's a freebie round.
Yeah, we absolutely take those every day of the week. And already, loWel's going to start things off.
loWel's been huge from that spot.
Yeah, he's been nasty with his Scream, tries to get aggressive. No, big denial there. All this kind of like cheeky individual play seems as though it's already been met by force. And this weird purchase, a lot of lighter weaponry coming through, is actually paying dividends.
I mean, again, I was just saying loWel has been huge from that spot. nukkye finding a dirty headshot actually on the soulcas as he goes back to look for something else in mid. But again, limited buyback into this, he still finds value from that spot. The way in which Heretics are playing A site right now, giving up the site itself. nukkye finds a second Link. Good for the trade. Expecting Link to obviously just back away and try and keep this rifle on the board. But I do want to make a point. Liquid don't really have an answer. They're not pressuring short enough to get loWel off that spot and kind of, you know, make best use of that split onto A.
Okay, Link.
30 seconds left.
Oh, the timing.
Oh, it feels bad. There's been some horrible timing for Liquid. I'll let them just have that as bad timing. But the gap is now closing. As much as these rounds may seem a bit like memey, I do want to highlight the fact that it is now 8-9.
It's 8-9. And I'll be honest, you know, they may be cracking under pressure, right? That mistake in a previous round, they're not picking up the spike. You got to argue those are things now. I mean, you're getting a little sweaty, a little warm under the pit, so to say. That's not what you want to be happening, especially when you've dropped map 1 and you're looking at potentially going out if you lose a second.
Okay, pressure starting to build now, and the money looking a little worse for wear for Liquid. They do need to be very cautious with this. You can see the lighter armor coming through, a Sheriff here, a Ghost there, and a couple of rifles. So soulcas and Scream are your danger men for Liquid this round. On the other side for Heretics, once they work out that they might be against a lighter purchase, I want to see how they approach this now, maintain their composure under what could be I'd hope a scripted round if you're on a kind of half buy.
Yeah, interesting this time around. nukkye actually playing up in heaven. We haven't seen that previously. I was just talking about how Heretics have kind of favored short and playing around that tree and garden area. This time around, nukkye is posted up. He is watching through to A main, waiting for that information to come across. But loWel actually over towards B side. 3 members of Heretics, in fact, with the mid control as well. And Liquid look like they're going to try and pinch onto A. As I said, they probably should in the previous round.
Okay, well, this is going to be a big area of denial. If it goes straight through, yep. Okay, dashing out, nicely done by Scream, staying mobile, quick on the feet. AvovA's still there, and he hasn't really given away the game. That might. But now suddenly everything gets a little revealed, and Liquid are bringing this close quarters. I quite like that. Bring those pistols into areas where they can maybe operate, maybe hold on. AvovA just barely alive. Scream takes him down, and suddenly Liquid are looking a little bit more deadly.
Oh my!
Until then, straight away, absolutely eviscerated. Liquid looking for anything. They need the plant, they get it. soulcas has to go big this round.
Indeed, Liquid down to 2 here. 5 members of Heretics. And again, this is another round you don't want to let slip through your fingers here. Liquid both stacked into tree, actually. soulcas going to find AvovA elsewhere. loWel actually uses that timing to get over the top and finds both kills. Liquid will fall, Heretics will get the defuse.
Thank you.
9-9. Scoreline-wise, Heretics are keeping composure at this point. It looks like Liquid are looking... I like the intention this round, honestly. I like that pinch towards short. I like the pressure that they were able to apply. All the intention was great, but you saw that ultimate just completely dismantle them. Yeah.
Do you know what the best thing was as well? And it was actually 2 members in sight that died, but the slow orb that comes down into tree would have been so perfect to kind of combine with. I don't know if it was a factor in the end. Obviously, we were watching from nieSoW's perspective, but just really, really good stuff from Heretics.
Okay, Heretics keeping their heads up here. I was kind of curious if Liquid were going to keep that pressure building that they were kind of doing in the early forays of these rounds and this half, but it does look as though they've hit a bit of a barrier. Let's have a little look as to what's going on for now. I want to see if the economy's in a curious spot. It looks like Liquid are able to get the decent enough purchase. I'm not sure how Scream's faring money-wise, but of course the ultimate will be popped, so he should be fine. Already aggression on short. I love this, but soulcas handles it with ease. That's the first time they've won this cleanly.
Yeah, and again, this is this is Heretics prioritizing short so heavily on A. Again, I mean, they don't really need the mid control at that point. Once they've got AvovA and nukkye tucked into tree. Scream now with the Blade Storm pop, but Spike is headed towards A, at least lurking over on A side, so maybe waiting for Scream to find something before making a commitment either way. Dark cover.
Nice. Lovely fake.
Out. Let's see if it baits out any movement on the side of Heretics.
This is a gorgeous fake so far coming in from Liquid. I'm still waiting to see how that Spike gets on. Yeah, Scream, beautiful. This is lovely. This is really good. He's going to cut him in half. Exactly. Yeah. He can be wherever they want. Now, he is going to be noted because of the bolt coming through, but this now encourages the play from Link. They're going to take the site for free. This is a beautiful fake play you've just seen come out from Liquid. Even with a player advantage, you can see the benefit of opening up short and how it's paid off. Spike now down. This is beautiful. Now they just have to deal with the players coming back in, though.
Yeah, lockdown for good measure as well. Kryptix just going to tuck himself into hell as I say that. nieSoW does actually find him with the wallbang. Scream, catching AvovA, trying to escape out the window, and Heretics just desperately trying to get over to the defensive spawn. nieSoW actually caught on the heaven ramp. He has got a teammate there to defend him. Should Scream look to try and get that one, but I say that. The trade comes through. pAura finds Scream in response.
Yeah,
it's all but done.
Yeah, it is. It is. Keep hold of the guns, play it smart. And I just want to highlight how much of a nicely crafted round that was.
Perfect.
I'd hope the desk could maybe take some time on that, because most people, I know you guys at home play all the time, but for those maybe just tuning in, they're like, why was that so cool? That was such a well-executed fake piece after getting that pick towards short.
Yeah, and it lines up perfectly. The fact that Scream is able to dash into market door, then wrap through mid, even with the... obviously, his location being revealed, and I mean, all he's got is the cloud burst to cover off defensive spawn, but the fact he's able to get out of there and get back over to A short so quickly to help with that push onto A site, just really, really good stuff. The timing was absolutely perfect for them.
Okay, let's see how the switch-up now comes down for Heretics. I want to see what they do here, because they've just had a really nice execution against them. That's got to be a Liquid playbook sort of piece coming out, very scripted. Yeah. I want to see what their response is. Do they get aggressive again? Do they try and take some map territory? Do they have to now kind of question that mid-play potentially coming through? So I'm going to keep my eyes on, is there any aggression? It looks like this deep hold coming in from Liquid is going to be their just starting point, but this is not necessarily new, but having the op here could be a danger.
Response there from the...
Lovely.
And a little bit of information from the Owl drone. Nade, unfortunately, just forcing soulcas out of that corner at least. Flash comes through. Scream going to clear out B main here. A heavy stat. Actually, a lot of presence from Heretics. I mean, leaning towards B site. Again, AvovA over on that short position, which we know Heretics converted from time and time again. But the spike is over with Link and Kryptix. So... maybe trying to repeat the same process from the previous round here, Lauren.
Okay, but this could be the double pump, right? You send Scream in again on his own, but this time your players are actually behind them. So it does seem as though the spike is wrapping its way back around spawn. So we'll be seeing if they actually go for this and where the information's going to come from. They don't have a great deal. They've heard the op now shoot. They know that's in play.
Yeah, you can see now the rotation from Heretics coming away. The Scream does
30
find the
seconds
entry here. Recon bolt onto side. nukkye are going to find Kryptix on the way in though. Lockdown goes in favor of Heretics. Actually, Echoes manages to tuck himself on. AvovA will fall. pAura now. He has his lockdown destroyed.
How is he still alive?
I don't know.
How has he got... Wait, that was the spike. They just bounded in with that, and now we've got 10 seconds. I get
10
nervous,
seconds
but it
left.
shouldn't be a problem. Switching up to the rifle, a little bit more, I guess, viability with it, rather than just running in with the op. Isolates a fight, but Scream's not going to let it go. 3 kills for the man, keeping good control in this, opening things up. Initially, it got a little dicey then. I don't like the spike committing towards the, the back of the house there. It gets a little bit dicey.
I got really confused there at the fact that AvovA managed to tuck himself into Boathouse.
Yep.
I mean, literally right on top of Eccles. And I mean, the good thing is that they didn't seem phased at all by the fact that the lockdown had been planted on site. Again, the Hunter's Fury being invested to deal with that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, again, down to 10 seconds, the spike's making a play towards Boathouse. It's not really what you want to see. Until they clear it out, it's understandable, but...
I like percentage plays where you play to the safety, but it looks like a fast piece towards A. We've got to jump on with the likes of Scream. He is offering himself up as the spear tip. Throw me in, chuck me in there. I will be the first in. I will open these sites, and it's a quick plant too. Look at the pace change on this. They've just shifted up a gear. Liquid are playing. This is the style of game I expected to see from them. Now they have to hold the retake though, and there should be plenty of utility with Heretics, even if some of their guns are a little weaker.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the setup from Liquid is fantastic here. Again, lots of emphasis onto A main. soulcas actually holding close contact here on the door as well. Scream is very low HP, but comes through. soulcas finds AvovA. Yeah, the trade's going in favor of Liquid all day long. 3 for 2 here. Scream does actually get picked up though, so this makes it interesting. It's a 2v2 now. The wall is down, blocking off some sight lines over towards A main, but Killjoy utility buying so much time.
And yeah, time is everything of the essence, and it is going to be dribbling away from them. Even the spike kind of closing things down the end, but it is going to be Liquid. I want to highlight not the end of that. That just, it was a little bit here and there, but the intention, the pace, the direction, the quickness, that is the Liquid we were expecting to see. This is the higher level approach.
I mean, isn't it? The thing to consider really, that position I've talked about Heretics playing over on A short, I mean, it's very easily countable. If they're just going to give up sight and heaven, I'm surprised I haven't seen really Liquid either lean towards splitting A and putting a lot of pressure onto those short players, or at least just kind of, getting in, getting control. I mean, smoking off the doors, obviously, they have the opportunity to do that. That there is kind of the response I'd expect to see from Liquid to get control on A. pAura actually coming out on top of that 1v1 over in B main.
And that's response. A player. That's a player you wanted gone. Get Scream out of there, because he's been offering himself up as the entry. He's been setting the pace for Liquid Exactly.
as well.
He's been their entry fragger and kind of... Oh, I think Eccles just saw that. I'm pretty sure he got a glimpse of Omen just dodging back in, which would be AvovA here. Now, again, a little bit of information now trickling through. Yes, they got the pick towards B, but with that little bit of a spot, they're going to maybe start leaning back towards more of a kind of A lean with a little bit more attention towards middle. And it's right to be feeling as such. Liquid are still exploring their options.
Yeah, spike slowly making its way up short, though. You can see this time around nukkye, AvovA, and loWel all here, and nukkye will find the first. Actually, Showstopper gets popped. Kryptix got to be careful here. No utility for nukkye to close this gap down. Does get sent out, unfortunately, just missing the mark. But all of this comes out now. Spike headed all the way towards market here. It's going to be a B hit. pAura finds the first, though. Eccles good for the trade.
Oh, that was so good. AvovA's there. That spike lost, and now Kryptix lost in the wastelands of the map. He can maybe look short. He can try and find a pick, but he's got 20 seconds and no spike to play with. This was well controlled and well considered by Heretics to back away towards middle. Shut down, and it's going to be another lifeline for Heretics. This game is going to go pretty far. I want to look at Liquid's money as well. Keep in mind how their economy's been a little bit back and forth here. I want to see how they stand in this. Hopefully they can get a really good purchase here and get themselves ready for what could be a long game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really good response here for Heretics to kind of pivot back over to focusing so heavily on A. And especially, when they're putting that focus in and it's resulting in them finding first blood and then the second kill. I mean, it's just plain sailing for them. Liquid look like obviously, I mean, Screamy has got the Blaze Storm to consider as well. 29 and 14 for Screamy. He's having an absolute blinder.
Yeah, he is leading by example. He is delivering as, you know, big players turn up in big games. And this is what this is. He's dragging them across potentially the finish line, at least in map 2. 1 round away from tying this series, at least 1-1, taking us all the way to a third map, which, you know what, I wouldn't be upset about. So for now...
Not complaining.
No, a little bit of patience being shown from Liquid. It's certainly not the fullest of purchases, looking towards Kryptix potentially there, but it is certainly serviceable. It will do the job. And let's look at the early intonations as to where they may go. It looks like short control is being considered again.
Yeah, this time around, I mean, all Killjoy utility for Heretics invested onto A site. A little bit of a mix-up. Okay, and actually playing mid with nieSoW. So there you go. Here's that focus actually onto short I was talking about. AvovA shut down in that position. And actually soulcas follows up and finds a kill in mid as well. So initially, Liquid getting everything they need to get into A site.
Oh, and Scream's just hunting them down. The man's on a mission. He wants to close out strong, but there is still life in Heretics, but it is being drawn away from them. This would seal the deal in map 2. Just loWel alive. And, well, I don't know what else he can do. AvovA's back up, I guess. That's going to help him out, but just fed to the wolves, as Liquid have done just about enough, I feel, here. This is them stabilizing. This may not be a proud moment for them, I feel, but it is at least just righting the wrongs of map 1. soulcas to close, 13-10.
Yeah, I mean, they looked much, much better than they did in map 1. Split, my concern is that even when Liquid looked that much better, it's still such a close matchup here in map 2. And again, you know, especially looking at Liquid's attacking sides, it took them so long to kind of figure out the best.